Hey guys, how's it going? Okay, so let me just check everything is set up and then we'll start soon. We have a very exciting class today. I'm gonna show off something that I guess I've been keeping a secret, but it's been helping me a lot for the last few months, the last year. Hold on, be close. And we wouldn't be anywhere near where we are today without what I'm about to show you guys how to use today, which is live mode. It's essentially a way to iterate your product, but also validate ideas very quickly. We're in Bootcamp Season 4 now, so maybe before we begin, let me quickly go over like a brief history on what the boot camps are and what cheat layer is and who I am, because we actually have almost an equal number of new users and old users now. So there's probably some people who have no idea what's going on, and that's completely okay because this course is designed as a very uh, quick boot camp to condense almost everything that I've learned in the last few months to make it as easy as possible to launch a product, including market insights and the AI market. And the reason we're doing this is we actually started Cheat Layer during the pandemic to help my friends who had lost their jobs and businesses rebuild online. And I actually uh, co-founded my first startup with CNET's founder, Halsey Miner. So if you go back into my experience, I was researching GPU CUDA. I was like an early CUDA engineer in around 2010, 2011. And Halsey Miner, CNET's founder, went looking for a way to revitalize horse racing, and he found my professor at BU, who was like the foremost researcher for that. And so they found me because they needed a way to run glasses-free 3D screens, auto stereo lenticular screens, uh, in real time in 3D. And so I came up with an interesting Monte Carlo type algorithm. You don't need to know what that means, but basically, I got it to work in real time in CUDA. And so we co-founded my first startup, and we raised 3.9 million in total for that. We had a team and granted U.S. and international patents and 3D reconstruction and all that things. Our first customer was the Tennis Channel, and I ended up selling that technology. Uh, we were probably like too early because it was 2013, and no one even had 3D TVs, let alone like AR and VR like people have now. And so we ended up selling that technology to Standard, Cognition. Oh, hey guys. And that allowed me to kind of retire around 2018. And so around that time, I also wrote like an article that went viral, and I started another Saas automation product. And so I learned a lot about building and launching products because I was kind of like free and doing whatever. And that product kind of went viral because my article went viral. It ranked number one on Google for Instagram bots because at the time there was like trouble building unblockable Instagram bots. And so I built its easy tutorial for non-technical people to do it in Google Cloud in about 15 minutes. And so if you're non-technical, it's kind of crazy to like set up a cloud server and do all these things. A lot of people, it went kind of viral for that reason, and for other reasons. And so we were free during the pandemic, and I was making like a lot of money. Like that product exploded actually the first March of the pandemic. And so I had a lot of free time and money, and so I donated everything that I was doing to help people rebuild online, basically. And I started with my best friend, Sam. He lost his events business. He was my roommate in college, and his events business went to zero. And so we helped him rebuild online by streaming famous chefs remotely. And like during the pandemic, if you remember, it was kind of hard to get food. So that actually did well as a business. It's now called Field to Table in Seattle, and they do events with the Seahawks and stuff like that. And so he started referring me around, and we're getting close to why we're here. So sorry if this is a little bit long. Uh, he so I was quickly helping hundreds of people pro bono right after the pandemic build whatever product they wanted because I had the free time. I didn't really need the money and things like that. And so for free, it was quickly overwhelming. So I was helping people like in France and in India, And that's kind of like the inception of why these boot camps exist. So through that process, I actually met many people who were struggling, like literally homeless, could only meet with me at a library or on their like phone, in their car, and things like that. And so I emphasized with them, but also I was meeting with them regularly. So it kind of forced me to prioritize like our North Star metric, in a business to always help those people. And I think that also helped the business because it was a meaningful problem to solve, and that people kind of like found us because they also had this problem. So like build things people want, basically, right? So um, if you don't know what that means, I'm going to explain a lot of best practices that I learned over the years in building products and launching them and things like that. And we started the first boot camp right after I launched CheatLayer because I had learned all these things and I wanted to teach people because we had made like 800,000 that year or something, and I wasn't doing anything. It was like just coming to us because we were ranking on Google, and we didn't even have to spend money on ads, but I did buy ads. And then so there's a lot of tricks I knew. I just felt like if people just knew, there wouldn't be so many people struggling. So the first boot camp was completely free, and it was actually to help those people who were struggling. I mean, we made it free to all our customers that we met, and all that. That was great too. But I was trying to help them because I was trying to it's like really hard to start a business, right? You need motivation, you need like accountability, you need all these other things than just knowing what to do. It's not just like the rules are actually all out there. The best practices are all out there on YouTube and things like that. So it's much harder than just knowing what to do. You have to kind of like go and execute and do things. So that motivation part, I figured maybe we could solve that with this course because I had a really cool professor at BU who made these interactive algorithms courses, and those were my favorite courses, and they were like kind of competitive and stuff like that. And the best algorithm won every time. I mean, I won every time, but the best algorithm won every time, and that was so exciting. And so he was my favorite professor, and so I felt like that really motivated me to like want to learn. And so I made it kind of like a competition. So the first boot camp, we gave away $5,000. It was free to join. We gave away $5,000 to the winner who built the best product. And you can go look back. They used CheatLayer to generate Chrome extensions. And we started CheatLayer because I was trying to like scale up what I was doing. It's like overwhelming, right? So like hundreds of people I was meeting. And we also got early access to GPT-3 around the same time. It was like around 2020, 2021. And let me check if the audio is still working good. My friend had gotten early access to OpenAI's API key because she went to their hackathon in San Francisco. And so she gave me access, and I had early access. So I was thinking, well, we could build a product. And so we built CheatLayer. The idea behind CheatLayer was that many of these people that I was helping, I was doing the same thing for a lot of them. That's because the scaffolding for most businesses are about the same, like sales, marketing, HR, and there's a reason for that, but also because like policies and regulation, but also that's why you can hire people for the role. So we figured that we could somehow use GPT-3 to automate the entire process of setting up a business from end to end, and even automate the process of selling it and things like that. And then so these boot camps, coming back, why we're doing this. So these boot camps were started to try, and every time we hit a breakthrough or we made a lot more money or something happened, like I learned something basically, I was trying to distill it into like the easiest, most consumable and motivating thing to help people go out and like the people I'm still mentoring people that are struggling regularly actually to help them like launch and succeed and all that stuff. So it's getting better. Like we have had some successful launches out of these, and some people are making money and starting agencies, or at least every time they learn how to do it. And so now you can see people are changing the way they're thinking, which is kind of cool. So this boot camp, the reason for this boot camp, so we've now gone through 4 of these. And every time it's getting like more efficient. I'm like learning things, they're getting better. And we've condensed this boot camp down to 2 days, 3 days. I've added an extra day. because I think that actually automation has solved most of the hard work now. So a lot of the things I would have had to teach, we can just automate now with forms, with simple forms, even setting up Stripe subscriptions, logins, backends, user accounts, all that stuff is automated in 5 minutes. Like a lot of the hard stuff is automated now. And I think that's going to keep happening. Like maybe the future bootcamp will be like 5 minutes or something. I don't know. Like you just enter what you want and it does it. That'd be cool. So, but also we did really well by timing these waves, like our launch in last year. You can see that like if we had launched a week before ChatGPT, things would have been completely different for us. And so what is happening is actually there's another big wave in these models, these base frontier models like GPT-4, Gemini. There's going to be another huge wave in the capabilities. And so what that means is you can do the same thing we did. You can time this launch right after it happens, and build something that takes advantage of it. Like you don't have to know what it is to take advantage of it, because we know that it's essentially going to improve reasoning. And so in Cheatware and in OpenAgent Studio, we've built certain no-code primitives that will automatically get upgraded. So we ride this wave. So you should maybe think about how to build products that ride this wave with every new model. So in the next model, your agents that you build with OpenAgent Studio will just have better reasoning abilities, like the Magic Scraper node, the Click node, the GPT-4 node. Their outputs will be more robust. Maybe they'll take less steps. Maybe there won't be any errors, or they can do more. And in fact, we have a generalized agent that we're running evals on to do like really complex things that don't work yet, but essentially will work without changing any of the code as we just switch to new models, which is kind of exciting. Because this scaffolding that we've built is basically, you can imagine what will be required for like general AI in the future, automating any process on the PC, semantic targets in English, doing it in the cloud at scale. We've solved a lot of the things like turn APIs. We've solved there's a huge list of problems to make this efficient, but this scaffolding we believe is what will likely be, around the same design as what AGI will need, which means we can kind of like stand on the shoulders of giants, and as new models come out, we'll just be a little bit better than them. And so you should also think about designing products like that will just get better with these new models. So I'm going to try and explain why. So what will happen is the market is actually completely changing. There's a slide later where I'll explain why. And in the future, it's actually going to get easier to get customers. So right now is actually, I feel like analogous to like the early days of the internet, where like I wish if I could go back in time and like build a product in like the 90s or something, I feel like I would have made a lot of money, because just with my knowledge now. So like we missed a big opportunity. There were so many simple things that made money. It was so crazy. Like Salesforce's original table, Parker Harris was one of the co-founders of Salesforce, and he showed me, he like mentored me a little bit, because my first co-founder was his first investor. Halsey gave him their first 20 million, but it was hard to get that money because no one wanted to put sales data in the cloud in 1999. And he showed me their first table. It was just like this simple HTML form. It was like this simple table, like you could build it in high school. I'm sure you could build it now with ChatGPT. It's very ugly, no styling or anything. But that's how they raised their first 20 million, and now they're huge. Well, we're falling now, but you get the idea. So my point is that it feels like we're there, and that's why the urgency, there's such urgency in this boot camp. That's why it's 2 days, 3 days. That's why we did it as soon as possible. I try to do it as soon as possible because I think there's a new model coming, maybe the next few months, by the end of the year, that will have advanced reasoning abilities. And we're designing Cheatlayer to take advantage of that, which means any of your agents that you build on Cheatlayer will also automatically take advantage of that. You don't maybe have to think about this. It's kind of cool. So, okay, now let's explain what this bootcamp is. That was all the history. We're now just starting. Hey, guys. Okay, no questions. I'm also going to try and keep it a little bit more interactive this time and see if there's any questions. Okay, so in this bootcamp, we've figured out how to build agents. And if you automate something for yourself and it saves you a lot of time, it's a good product to sell. And we figured out how to turn them into a white label executable, any agent you build using our tools to sell. So you can automate any manual reasoning task, turn that into a product, and it's instant. It just turns whatever you build instantly. But that's not what you should maybe focus on first. What you should focus on is actually validating the idea before you build anything, because that helps you quickly iterate, and best startups do this. It's even before the MVP, you can validate the idea, and you don't need to have to. You need a landing page basically, but I'll explain. And so what we've done for this bootcamp, it's 3 classes. It used to be 2, but I think it would work better as 3 because we were delayed in launching the live mode update, so everyone can do this now. So no one had a really long enough time, I think, to play around with it and build their landing pages. So I'm going to extend the deadline for submitting landing pages. If you don't know what I'm talking about, basically, you can use what I'm going to teach you to do today to generate a landing page and submit it to our Reddit. And we'll email blast it to our 40,000 email list. That'll help you part of your validation journey. That'll do some of the work. But you can also do this yourself. So we've split it up into 3 days because I think we should allow people time to actually validate it. So this week, after you learn how to do it in this class, you can validate your idea, submit it next weekend. And I'll actually be at my sister's wedding next weekend in New York City, but I'll check it and we'll send an email. And I'll do a class then too. And then right after you validate your idea, we'll teach you how to build it. Okay. So I want to try and focus people on specific things. And also we're releasing something kind of exciting next week that'll make it easier to build agents. So, all right. So there's going to be 3 classes. There's 1 class today. There's another class tomorrow. And then next Saturday, there's 1 third class. Next Saturday, the class is on the 31st. Yeah. And at 12 p.m. Eastern. So I added an extra class just to give people time to validate their ideas. All right, cool. So let's go down this. So I already went through like my intro and explained. There's like a few cool photos from like my let me make this big maybe. My experience when I first came out to San Francisco. That's a mansion in LA actually. My investor had 2 mansions. So he had a mansion in San Francisco that's at 3800 Washington Street. That was it survived the 1908 earthquake, and Stravinsky played in the ballroom in the basement, and our team got to live in that one. That was kind of exciting. And then we moved to LA to do cooler demos, and we got to live in this huge mansion. It was kind of cool too, and it had a great view, which works out well for demos. But I set up like 40 cameras, you can see there, around the pool, and we did 3D reconstruction. There's videos out there somewhere of how it looks. Well, we basically did photorealistic 3D reconstruction from arbitrary cameras using like a space carving algorithm, and we hooked all those cameras up into CUDA servers that were really expensive because we had to use GPU expanders that cost $32,000 to fit enough GPUs into a server, and it was all crazy. Cheat layer. So a little bit more updates on what's going on here. So we're now growing faster than when we launched. What happened was we launched last year in April, right after ChatGPT launched. I think that was really good timing because, like I mentioned, we kind of rode that wave. And if you look at competitors who launched after us, like even a month after us, they also won product hunt and stuff, but they got nowhere near the organic traffic if you check SEMrush. So this matters. Like when you launch matters. The market changes daily. If the market's saturated, that matters. Everything changes. There's so many variables that you kind of only can't. There's no way for a single person to predict a market. You have to run experiments and test objectively. So, and those experiments need to have statistical significance with enough people. Otherwise, you're just kind of guessing. So we made 8K MRR that first month. And then like what happened was there was a lot of hype in ChatGPT. And so we grew mostly organically with the ChatGPT hype, and you can see our growth rate like matches the ChatGPT hype curve as well. And so it kind of slowed down. And then now it's going back up because what's happening is we were iterating to something called product market fit after we launched. So after you get users, you iterate to something called product market fit, and we kind of built things until we figured out what it was. And now we know what it is. We know what product market fit is, I'm pretty sure. And so you can, it's like a spectrum actually. So as you feel the pull from customers and what happens is now the customers who are finding us based on specific intents, including very large enterprise customers, which is exciting. And we're solving a very specific problem now that is not solved by any other RPA tool or agent tool on the planet. And it's probably the biggest like automation problem that we could solve today. So for some reason it's unsolved, and we have the opportunity to solve it and capture this huge market soon if we just reach something called product market fit, which is mostly actually just a UI UX change. It's most of the technology is going to say the same as what we have today, but we're going to do something cool. So what we believe product market fit to be is you upload a Loom video and you don't install anything. It just generates the agent for you using the state machine we've built for screenshots with video. And then you see the no-code drag drop interface, and then you click a button to run it on our cloud without installing anything locally. So that's very, yeah, that in terms of time to value, the inversion of the time to value, that's a very good design. But also it solves a problem that's massive and compounds at scale in enterprises and governments. And we've had like maybe like a half dozen large enterprises say this exact same problem basically. So I know they all have this problem. And every government has this problem, which is that when people leave, like employees and contractors leave, they lose expertise. And everyone is focusing on workflow automation, but no one's really focusing on the loss, like turning expertise into an asset. And so that's what we're trying to aim to do. If you don't know, we are the first startup approved by OpenAI to sell GPT-3 for automation. That took several months, like security mitigation features. Now they don't care. And then, so where we're at now is we're growing as fast as, like even faster than our launch month somehow. So basically we figured out what product market fit is. What that means is basically we figured out how to narrow our messaging to a niche and problem that we can solve really well. And they want it. And they're paying us for it. And so then like, so now we're growing 10 to 20 subscribers per day. Before we were growing like maybe 3, 5 at most or something. So it's very interesting. And the only difference is we just like focused, we deleted things. We deleted a lot of things actually. Like a lot of like UI things and agent tables and all that stuff. And we focused on very specific things. A new design, which I believe is the core agent team. Most businesses probably don't need more than 10 core agents to run their entire business, marketing, sales, SEO, monitoring, and so on, and ads, and so on. And that's because all these businesses kind of have the same scaffolding, just like the thesis we had when we started Cheatler. And so that's probably never going to change. And I think instead of like going and finding apps and learning them, relearning them, and having to every year when they change and upgrade, and that's like a tedious process, and it causes like brain fog and slows you down and things like that. And so I think instead most people in the future will probably just define goals instead of having to go search for apps, and then their AI agents or whatever AGI there is in the future will go and accomplish that goal and learn the tool for you. It feels like that's probably what's the right path. What we're doing now is probably not the right path. Or like it's not ideal, right? So we're getting there, it's getting close, and we're building it. And so it's exciting. Okay, so before we begin like actually doing stuff today, this is an interactive class actually. So everyone, even if you're like a Mac, Windows, Linux, you're not installing anything locally today. We're working entirely on validating ideas today. And so we're going to set up the entire Stripe subscription, Supabase, user logins, GitHub, all that stuff so that you can validate ideas in 5 minutes. But before that, you want to find product ideas. So how do you find interesting product ideas? How did I find Cheatler? So there's a couple strategies to this. I mean, there's always like outliers and people just randomly like fall into things, but hope shouldn't be your strategy, right? So you should find a strategy that maybe that's repeatable, because if you can keep taking shots on goal, it increases your probability of success and luck and things like that. So you can make your own luck like that. So let's think about like what we've learned maybe to help you save some time. So in the last year, before we launched, we were considering launching other products because it was like we knew that they were going to be products, and it was like kind of obvious that they were going to be products and they would make a lot of money, and they did. And so we had this sales tool. We were probably one of the first startups to automate our sales team, because we had a sales team and we had GPT-4 sitting there, and they were separate, and we just put them together and it worked amazingly. Like, it increased our reply rates from 3 to 11% and all that stuff. But that's kind of like an obvious thing. So my point is that, like, sales automation, social automation, marketing, all these things are external to businesses. And before ChatGPT, we thought that it would be an obvious solution, and it was. We were correct. But that means that the market is now saturated, so that if you build one of those things now, like if you go build a sales automation tool now, there's 12 of them or something, you'll have to compete with all of them in terms of pricing. And I would maybe focus on like a niche or something like that, like a specific sales niche that you can solve and add features for and do better than any other sales tool, so you can take all those customers away from them. But if you try to like target some of these like generic things that are external to businesses, then the market's going to be saturated. That just means you're going to have to deal with pricing and charge much less. It's going to be harder in general on average. So a good thing to do is actually search Google if what you're building exists at all. And actually, we should now try to treat this as like an objective scientific experiment. So not just one idea. We should maybe come up with like a list of 5 ideas. So think about this when you're coming up with these ideas. So you want to find ideas that have urgency, frequency, and no solution on Google. And the reason of that is because it helps you get customers and helps you like sell. Urgency means basically like your life or your business depends on it. Like Cheat Layer, we were helping people who were literally homeless. Their business had been lost. They needed us. Like, if you build something like this, the problem that is so fundamentally needed, people will be willing to work with an MVP and paying. And if there's no other solution, they'll pay you. They'll pay you a lot of money, especially if it's worth it. So that helps. That's going to help you if you choose one of these like urgent problems. If it's not so urgent, if there's like the opposite is something that maybe it's like annoying, but they have another solution. Like, what's like a good example of this? I don't know. I'll think of one at the end. Or maybe like yeah, picking up food. Okay, yeah. Maybe that's annoying, but I can also order food. So yeah, like okay, so it's not that urgent actually. And so you want to find problems that are urgent and frequent. And frequency means that it happens like a few times a week. That's just going to make it like a large enough market. It's like a metaphor for a large enough market. And Google, this is like the thing that most people don't really mention that often, but some people are like intuitively understand this, that there's like a blue ocean strategy thing that people talk about, basically, that you don't want to have to compete with anyone. If you can pick a market that doesn't have competitors, then you can kind of do whatever you want for years and experiment without stress. And we kind of had that. Like, no one was using GPT-3 for automation for years, which is comfortable. And then now everyone is doing it, so it's stressful. But we had the years to figure out what we needed to do, focus on building on what really mattered, and launch right when it was important. And we did that. I feel like that worked out well for us. So try to do that with the next big wave. Try to find a solution that's not on Google, that will maybe improve with reasoning inherently with the next model, and then time it for time. I mean, you can launch with us. You should launch many times actually, but time it so that you can launch it after the next big model release. And like I mentioned, we move things around to give people about a week time, because I think it's important to spend time to think about this. Like, go through your life for a week and look for the most urgent problems. And they might be like odd that you didn't even think about them, because you maybe don't, a lot of people don't see these unless you're actually looking, right? So like, be observant of people in your work, your life, your friends, your family, and see what like recurrent serious problems that haven't been solved yet. Like, a lot of them are automation really related, so this helps, but add them to a list, and then validating the ideas. Okay, so this is like the whole point of this class actually. Hey, how's it going? I'm gonna check questions if there's any questions really quickly, so it's a little bit more interactive. Okay, so no questions. So the whole point of this class is to teach you how to validate ideas. So you have this whole next week. Your homework for this next week is to find problems to solve and validate ideas. Hey guys. So we've made it as easy as possible to validate ideas because we've set up something called live mode that I've been using for like the last year to build cheat layer itself. And if I had time to validate, I have so many product ideas that I wish I had time to build. And I know if I built them, I would like get distracted. We don't have time to do that. But maybe today I'll play around. I'll have some fun today. So I was gonna use this bootcamp to have some fun and actually launch a product from end to end. So today I'll just play around with live mode and do some cool things in live mode that I wanted to do. But I'm gonna actually launch an agent, like sell it as an entire new entity, just so I can track the numbers and show you guys like publicly how easy it is to use these agents to sell something. Because we know we're doing it, but I don't want to give away our like all of our cheat layer numbers. Oh god, I hope our audio is still working. Testing. Okay, good. So I want to do it publicly with like something that's starting from scratch, because like everything we did last year doesn't work anymore. So the other like I mentioned, like people who launched a month after us didn't get anywhere near the same organic growth, and that's just like chat GPT hype wave. So we know kind of like what works now, and so that's the point of this class, is to teach you guys what's still working, the tricks that we're using to grow. On tomorrow's class, we'll show you how to set up like this, all these core agents that I've been using to grow cheat layer. Marketing agents, we have an ads agent, there's an SEO agent, and a monitor agent that just like I schedule off to go in the morning, and most of them get done before I wake up. I have an earnings, like I have some trading agents too that were making money. It's kind of exciting, and one of them made money while I was sleeping, which is kind of exciting. That was one of the more exciting agents we built. We're not selling that agent because like obviously if you sell a trading agent, the market will adjust to eliminate the advantage, but we'll teach you how to build this. And essentially you can distill successful like trading strategies into agents. That could be one of your product ideas. Okay, so like I see like a lot of founders get this thing wrong and like try this backwards, and I mean it's understandable because that's like what you see externally. Most startups you see them doing this, so it's hard to know what they did in the first few days because you never see the first few days. So this is what actually most successful startups, how they worked in the first very few days. And the order is actually and this is successful startups. I mean, many startups fail and didn't do this, but the successful startups tend to do this because they know, like second time founders or someone told them, or they're maybe really intuitive. You can validate an idea before you build the MVP. Those are two separate things. So you can actually very quickly validate an idea. And so let me explain with cheat layer what I did. So with cheat layer, before we launched cheat layer, like months before we launched cheat layer, I was in Facebook groups explaining what it could do. And people were commenting and saying, hey, that's cool. And we did a pre-sale before we launched cheat layer. And we gave people codes and things like that. And that validated the idea. I knew people wanted it and people were willing to pay for it. And so I went and built it. That de-risks a lot of this. But I didn't build the MVP until I knew people wanted it. And so then I went and actually built the MVP. So the next step is to build the MVP, which means this whole week, we're not going to build the agent. So that's a big mistake I see a lot of founders make, is they go spend years building their product and they haven't met customers yet, actually. And you should do it the other way around. You should meet customers first before you build anything. Always sell before you build. I've been saying that like repeatedly the last few days. Because like if you think about it, the landing page when you launch your actual product, right? Let's look at maybe cheat layer's landing page. So this landing page is pretty simple, right? I mean, anyone can build this. There's nothing, we didn't invent anything. These are all like videos. There's like reviews. We're explaining what we do and pricing and about us. Like this design, there's like, you can build about the same design, maybe without the reviews. You don't have it yet, and maybe some of the videos are just images and stuff like that. Entirely before you launch it. So it'll be very close to the exact same design. It's almost the same. You can make it exactly the same. You don't have to change it. And the only difference is that in the end, when you built it, you spent like months building this product and stuff like that. So what you can do is you can jump to the end. That's like a quick like a hack, a shortcut. So you can jump to the end and validate the idea immediately by building exactly what you would build if you would launch it. Why you should do this? Because you don't want to waste time building something. Because like I have friends who are founders, guys. I like help a lot of people build startups and things. I have friends who are founders who have spent like years building this thing, and they think they need to add another they keep adding more features and things. And that's what's gonna make customers come to you. It doesn't work that way. You have to usually go and get your first customers manually. like we're gonna help you a little bit with that, but you usually have to target very manually. Like find people who are willing to work with MVPs and things like that, and that's just going to increase your probability of success because you understand that most startups fail. They don't know this. They don't do this. These are the reasons actually most startups fail. They spend years building it before even talking to customers. You guys are not going to do that. I'm going to help you, save you all that time because I've made those mistakes and I've seen those mistakes, so you don't have to do those. So the secret trick is to build the landing page first and do a pre-sale. Or talk to customers. Even you don't even have to build a landing page, but we made it easy to build a landing page, so I would do it because it makes you look a little bit more professional, right? People are starting to say like you need like a professional looking MVP these days because the market is saturated. That's not really true. You can validate the idea with a professional looking landing page without building anything, and that's very easy to do in a day. We've made it even faster to do in like five minutes. So this is gonna be a fun class. If you like building products, this will be fun for you. If you've never seen this before, this will be fun for you. So we're going to show you how to build these landing pages. And if you look on the right-hand side, they look professional. So those images are actually generated using the state-of-the-art ideogram model. This one beats DALL-E 3 and Flux, and it's very good at like text and things like that. You can go look it up. It's beating all of them in the rankings and things. And this is like a product. So this product, I just made a landing page for like a WhatsApp product one of our users submitted to Reddit. So I regenerated his landing page with professional images, and these are the images it generated. This is like for a WhatsApp automation service for restaurants. Isn't that super relevant? That's like really professional looking. I would think this is like a real website, like someone actually went down and took this photo from their restaurant or something, right? It's really cool. So you can actually get even more professional looking than like even Cheatlair's website, I think. You can like, because this is like modern design practices and you can have it generate any images and stuff like that. So try this out. This is really fun. It's like say wild products. After you learn how to do this, ask it to build a landing page for some kind of weird wild product, right? And it'll generate the image for it. It's kind of funny. So that's a little secret, like a Easter egg for you to try later. That's fun. And it'll generate that image, so it's kind of fun. So okay, so this is very easy to do. It's going to take you 5 minutes, and basically, in order to validate the idea, it's two parts. You need to build this professional-looking landing page that basically it's the exact same thing the customers will see when you launch. They sign up. You can even charge them for a pre-sale. Tell them that the product's not ready. That's fine. Tell them that it's like early waitlist or you're going to launch soon, but give them like a discount. Like a discount for being an early supporter. That's what I did when I launched Cheatlair. We gave everyone like lifetime codes and discounts and all that stuff just because it wasn't ready yet, but we needed feedback and iteration and things like that. But people believed in the vision basically. And there were enough people who needed this problem solved that I've been helping them since then. And so it's like you find that like North Star metric that you will keep working on for years, even if it doesn't work in the first one or two and it's hard because like when I was talking about when finding product ideas, I mentioned look for ideas in your own personal life, like your family, friends, and stuff. I didn't mention that the reason you do that is because this gets hard. Every successful startup gets hard. There's no easy. I've never seen an easy startup that's successful. Like some startups become lifestyle. There's nothing wrong with becoming a lifestyle business or regular business. You can make a lot of money and retire, and that's totally fine. That's great. That's a win. Most people don't realize that. Like the only reason I'm doing this is because we could help a lot of people. If we solve this problem, we could make billions per year and give it away and solve everything. So it's kind of cool. And it's probably the most exciting thing I could be working on. So I'm like every day I'm excited to work on, like wake up as soon as I wake up, I work on the next exciting thing, and then by the time like at the end of the day, I'm like so tired I just pass out. So it's find your thing that you would be willing to like be passionate about for years, um, years from now. I think that would be cool. And even if it's like if you think it's like a huge incumbent in the market like Salesforce, don't worry about that because I'm gonna talk about maybe later after we do the live mode stuff. Um, how I'm just gonna check time. Uh, 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 yeah, I'm gonna talk about later how to basically um, uh, more strongly validate your ideas. And at the end of the live mode, we'll come back and talk about like what's going on in the market because the market is actually changing daily and some of our market insights. So right, I'm probably now going to switch over to showing you how to actually set all this stuff up. It takes like a 5-10 minutes, and then once you set it up once, you're set to do this fun thing. So it's exciting. So it's worth it, definitely worth it, and it'll make you can get paying customers in within 5 minutes. So it could pay for itself. That's kind of exciting. So TLayer could actually pay for itself for a lot of users because we actually were one of the few automation tools that let you sell the agent as a product because that's like core to our premise. I was trying to help people sell products and all that stuff. So that would be really exciting. I mean, a bunch of users have made more money than they paid. Because I've helped them. Like some users are making stupid amounts of money on on things I can't share, but it's really interesting. But it's mostly weird mundane things, like not the external parts of businesses. It's like weird, deep, mundane markets that don't exist on Google that haven't been solved yet. And we're kind of like in the gold rush right now to find all these things. And it's not like sexy businesses at all, like not like oil rigs and weird stuff, but those somehow you make the most money on, and that's very interesting. Like we get this deal flow because we help all these people with that, like whatever they want, including large enterprises. So we can kind of see like a high level overview of what people are automating most often. It tends to be like mundane document processing. It's kind of funny, but that's like a saturated market if you like Google it, but if you Google like specific markets and businesses like oil rigs and niche down, there's always a way to find something that's not on Google. Just like add like an extra term, oil rigs, oil rig document processing. That's like basically the same idea. So let me get back here. Okay, so basically there's two parts to this: landing page and then getting customers, right? And then so you want to actually with an MVP, you want to go do this thing called spear phishing. You want to find customers in like the first 10. You want to maybe find people in your network. Like when you were looking for problems, you were finding people who had these problems. So go to those people first. Like actually help meet. Like it's really cool to help real people because then it'll also motivate you. And so we'll help with this as well. So if you submit your landing page that you generate with what you learned today to our Reddit, we have a huge email list, and we'll just send them a list. We'll email blast the email list and say, hey, this is everyone who's building products and launching them soon. They're doing a pre-sale. If you're interested in a huge discount to be an early supporter, check it out. And the ones that are voted like the most, and we'll like give feedback and vote and stuff like that maybe over the next week. You'll get the most traffic at the top because Reddit has I guess this voting system, but I don't think it works that well unless you have a lot of votes. So hopefully we'll get a lot of votes. So all right, so we're helping you basically validate. Let me see where we are on the slides. Okay, we're helping you validate the idea, and then you don't start building today. We're not going to build anything today because we're always sell before we build. Validate the idea, and if like no one wants to buy it or stuff like, you just shut it down. Or if only a few people buy it, just refund them and say, I'm sorry, we made a mistake. We're going to go in a different direction, but I appreciate your support. If you're interested in our next deals, stay in touch, something like that. Like it's not that it's like we've made it easy to like fail, so maybe be comfortable with like being objective about it, treating it like an objective scientific experiment. Then you'll do well if you're not in love with one specific product or idea. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. Have like 5 at least, and then but once you learn how to do this, you'll realize that you'll have like a huge list of these actually. So okay, so but next week I'm going to show you how to build things. So I don't want people to think about building it. we're gonna give you feedback if it's not possible. If you post on the Reddit, I'll tell you, hey, that we cannot do that. Like the things we can't do in general is like open-ended things. We're researching how to do open-ended things with Project Atlas, and it's interesting because we had like a onboarding recently this week where a customer was asking about OCR to validate Venezuelan votes, and they use QR codes. And I didn't know if we supported QR codes, actually, honestly. And so I just put it into Project Atlas. Try this. If you're not sure, just try the desktop version of Project Atlas. It kind of blows my mind. It downloaded the Python library to solve the problem, installed the Python code, took the image I gave it, and then read the QR code back to us. And all I had to say was, "Hey, read this. What does this QR code say?" And so I did it, right? It's very cool. But we don't try to teach how to do that right away because it has a certain limitation. So like I mentioned, like we don't like the things that we can't do is generalize problems, but it can do certain things. We're doing the research to help our customers. I mean, if we could solve that, that would really help our customers, right? So that's the next frontier. It can do cool things like you can give it a list of websites and say, go sign up to all these or get the emails from all these, and it'll navigate the websites even if they're all different designs. That's kind of cool. But we have that modality, and we have a no-code editor, which we kind of started with. And this no-code editor, I think, will always exist, even as we add more modalities, because people seem to be very comfortable, especially our older customers, with just simple forms, and they don't like fancy things. And then that's not fine. I think most people probably don't need chat interfaces to do everything in business. You probably just want a simple form. That's why our core agent team is just simple forms now. And then we're going to add a new modality next week, which is a part of the reason why we're not doing teaching how to build things, because you might be able to use this new modality next week, which is very exciting. So what I'm talking about is what I was discussing earlier was what we believe product market fit to be. You can upload a Loom video, it generates the whole agent. You don't have to install anything. You click a button, it runs it in our cloud. You might have to log in our cloud, but that's it. That seems ideal. And we're very close to launching it next week. I was hoping to get it done for today, but it's too much to do. I'm so tired, but it's exciting. So this solves a huge unsolved problem in enterprise, but you might be able to just upload a Loom video to build your agent. So I would hold off on building things. It might be easier. But for now, this week, focus on like actually validating your ideas, and we'll tell you if it's possible or not to build with what we have. And hopefully next week it'll be a lot easier for you to build. So, oh yes, the last thing I mentioned is that every agent that you build in Open Agent Studio, you can now turn into its own standalone executable. You might have seen the white label tutorial on our YouTube. We've always generated, we were probably the first startup, I think, automation startup, to turn automations into Chrome extensions so that you can sell them or turn them into tools. Just because I was like really trying to help people build businesses and things like that. And so it turned out great. There was like such a unique feature that we made, probably the most money of just that. I think somehow, because white labels and agencies and all that, they love that stuff. So we probably made the most money. That was a good idea. But we've now come up with something cooler where your desktop agents turn into an executable file, and you can run them unlimited times. And you can turn them into like the simple form, then like they enter the Twitter or whatever, it goes and does it. And you can sell that executable to someone else, and that can run unlimited times. That's another crazy thing. So we did something wild where we solved unlimited models, but also we're like bridging the gap to what we believe is gonna happen like in a few months to next year. All these models will be free and local anyway, or enough to do what we're doing, free and local. So it'll be unlimited anyway. We're just bridging the gap because we got a small angel investment. We have like credits and stuff like that to do it with. So it's a little bit expensive for us, but we don't care because it's going to zero soon. And what it does is like opens up so many possibilities. So like this white label thing, for example, it's like software in the 90s. Okay, so let me try and explain. So like software in the 90s was hard. You had to find someone who understood how to write software, and they had to be good at it. They had to like build this whole thing. And there was very few people, maybe thousands of people, I don't know. That's why it was expensive. But very soon, software is going to free. And so there was like this huge arbitrage opportunity in the 90s. I always talk about if we could go back to the 90s, I would make a lot of money. like because it was hard then. So that difference between like the value of what it provided and what it really cost was how the arbitrage operated. It's happening again now. So very soon, reasoning is going to zero. Reasoning is free. So reasoning tasks, which that means that you can arbitrage the value of that reasoning and sell it to someone. And people, a lot of people, I don't think they don't realize this huge opportunity yet. And so that's why I'm making it like explicitly clear. You can do this with our thing. You can do this. We made it easy. You just click this button. It generates a white label. You sell it to unlimited people. They can run it unlimited times. You can charge them whatever you want for it. Like you can charge them like a lifetime deal. That might be a good idea. Or a subscription or whatever. And we've set up Stripe subscriptions to make it easy and all that stuff. So my point is this week, don't focus on building. We can solve that. Maybe even better next week. You can generate executables and distribute them. The Mac version isn't ready yet. We got to get that working. But it's mostly set up for you, so you don't have to do a lot of that stuff. In fact, today you'll see it even automates Stripe, Supabase, logins, all the stuff that even developers don't like to do. Like even T-Layer doesn't have like federated logins. It's kind of funny. Like we don't need it. Like for an MVP, you probably shouldn't do as more than you need. You don't need federated logins, but I've automated it, so it doesn't matter. So it's kind of fun. All right. So all right. So now let's work on actually setting things up and going through live mode, and let me show you what I'm talking about. Why I'm giggling like a schoolgirl. It's kind of funny. It's really exciting because any idea I've had that I haven't had the time, or it's like way too tedious to even think about, I can now just type and it goes and does it when I'm bored. I can just say, hey, do this. It's like, I mean, sometimes it doesn't work, but surprisingly, an amount of times it does work. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. We're going to have fun. I'm just going to like live jam live mode. Oh, there's two green jam. Oh, we got a question. Hold on. Let me see if we can answer some questions really quick before we get to the end. Before we start this, let me just answer some questions real quick. Do we need lowest tier? Yeah. You can use the lowest tier subscription to access all our products. You only need the higher tiers if you want to resell or if you're a business that needs many people. No, we're not concerned about selling an MVP concept because that's actually how most successful startups begin. They validate an idea before building a product, and then they create an MVP. Yeah. Oh, and we solve this risk because we tell you what's possible or not very easily using our product. So essentially, we know what's easy to build with us, and if it's not easy to build, we'll just tell you not to do it. But that doesn't mean like I'm doing this because just like I'm helping people who are super struggling right now, and that's why I wasn't feeling that well today. But I made sure I didn't want to like they're counting on me, so like we're still doing this. So, but like this is like one surefire way I know that you can actually sell and start like make millions of dollars, like significantly if you do this now. You don't have to follow everything that I'm saying, but these are like the starting points that you can follow to do well. And other startups, if you Google around, something that I would read is Paul Graham's essay, Do Things That Don't Scale. That's another good thing to read about that MVP issue. Basically, essentially, all startups kind of start in this very manual way where you recruit your first customers. And so it's not like you're fooling them or anything. You're having a conversation with customers to figure out what problem would be best to solve. And it's like an idea maze. So you're working together with them. Okay, let me keep answering questions. Is it good to practice in the time? Oh, yeah. We have HubSpot set up, but we can show you how to set up Salesforce. Yes, it's a good practice if you're doing sales. If you have HubSpot set up, the sales agents, the email agents, they mark them as interested and not interested automatically for you. This saves your sales team a lot of time, so they don't have to do it. But also, if you set up the autoresponder, they don't have to touch anything. They just get demos. Like you can set up the autoresponder, send. I'll talk about more of this tomorrow when I talk about like all the core agents. But you can set up the autoresponder to send your Calendly link. This is brilliant for us, and that means your sales agents don't even have to touch any of those tools. We automate all the outbound and anything, and they just take demos. That's kind of cool. They don't have to touch and set up like clients and leads and anything. Cool. How do we get access to slides? Oh, it's access denied. Oh, my bad. I'll give you access. I'll have to like, hold on. Let me see if I can change that now. Thanks for letting me know. Let's see. Anyone with the link. Done. Okay, so now anyone with the link should be able to see the slides. I copied it up earlier. Let's see what else. I have white labels and 2 check marks. That means you have white label. That means you can sell any agent you build unlimited times, and your customers can run them unlimited times. And it's like a really unique thing. I feel like there's an arbitrage opportunity here that's like the beginning of the internet. And so I highly recommend trying it, at least trying it. It doesn't hurt. Cool. And then so if you have 2 check marks, you have white labels. Oh, it probably meant you went to the last bootcamp, because we automatically gave you white labels if you went to the last bootcamp too. And you bought white labels. Okay, so everyone should be able to get the slides now. Is the session also? No, it's not on Zoom. We're only live on YouTube because it's easier for me. And it seems to record it. That's super easy for me. So if people who message it, they can just click the link. Yeah, this is like the cheat code. It's so funny. Like, we made so much money during the pandemic. I felt like we figured out a hack, and very recently we also figured out like a hack in Google Ads that's counterintuitive. I don't want to give this away. Maybe maybe we'll turn it into an agent or something. But there's a loophole. There's loopholes in all these things. Like you have to think about how huge these are, right? In the early days of Google, in the early days of Google, in the early days of Facebook Graph, people took advantage out of it like to hell, and made like grew very quickly and sold to Yahoo for millions of dollars very easily without doing anything. It was like a huge thing. And then these services like figured it out and then monetized it and sold it back to people, basically. So you can't do Google, you can't exploit SEO as much anymore, for example, and stuff like that. So we figured out this still exists though constantly. There are loopholes like this constantly, and we're finding them. It's so interesting. So with agents, because they do these tests, they do these odd things, and so we accidentally stumbled on something in Google Ads that is counterintuitive, and for some reason it's helping us now grow faster than ever. We're growing 10 to 20 subscribers per day. It's like 18x ROI or something crazy. We're releasing an ads agent. It just doesn't do what I just described. It does something else. It monitors your keywords, which also helped us a lot. I think that did most of the work probably. So, okay. Yes, we can connect to any other product. We have something called Magic APIs. Here, let me show you. You can also use this in live mode, but maybe we won't have time to talk about it because we're kind of getting close to the end. So I want to make sure we do the interactive part. But yeah, you can actually add any API here just by like describing it and then giving your API key. The description can be like a private API, or if it already knows it, like Salesforce, it's pretty good. And I'll just add it to what Project Atlas can do, and then you can integrate it into Project Atlas and stuff like that. I'll talk more about that next week though. So this week we're focusing just on, I want to focus just on validating ideas, always sell before you build, figure out what's like the most valuable problem you could solve this week, and try to treat it like a scientific experiment before you even think about building anything. But we'll tell you if it's possible. We'll definitely tell you if it's possible. And if it's too hard, we'll tell you probably you should, like, post it to our Reddit. I'll tell you if you probably shouldn't do that. Like, or like, maybe we're not always right, but we kind of have it. You get this intuition if you do it a lot of times, and the market changes daily, so you should be willing to like change those correlates. Okay. I think that's the last question, so we'll continue now. Okay, cool. So this bootcamp, I'm trying to make it a little bit more interactive. Okay, so let's get back to live mode. So essentially live mode, we built our entire dashboard using live mode. That's like what I've been talking about. Like if we hadn't used live mode, it would have taken me like months, I'm sure, at least months longer. So we would be months behind where we are now. We wouldn't have all this stuff if we didn't use live mode. Because all I do is like I tell it what I want and it generates the code, and then I copy it back into their website and it's done. Like see that little loading bar? I didn't write the code for that loading bar even. It's a feature we built live mode using live mode. It's so funny. And so it's really kind of magical. I think other users, I mean, we were doing this last year and I was like screaming about how crazy and fun this is. But I think a lot of developers now are doing this in like Claude artifacts and other tools and stuff like that. But I like our version because we used it to build our product, and we keep adding. Like, I think that the ideal thing is next we should just allow it to edit the backend and dashboard too, so then I can build any product I want by just typing a prompt. That's really exciting because there's so many product ideas, like I mentioned earlier, that I just don't have time for, but I can articulate what I want, and it could probably generate that. So it's kind of cool. We're at the point where, like, right now we have to think about typing and generating this thing, but maybe like next generation of models, I'll be in the next bootcamp. Maybe I'll just be teaching you how to like enter like a general goal, and the agent goes and builds these landing pages and tests them, like builds 10 of them for you, 1, 2, and then tests them for you automatically by going to social media and pulling people. We can technically automate the whole process because I know what to do. And so right now it's kind of like I have to teach people like this, but every bootcamp I'm going to be able to automate more and more. And it's not that hard. If people can do it, we can do it. So this is kind of exciting. So for now, what we've done is that we can basically automate your Stripe, which is for logins, your Supabase for user data, not Stripe for subscriptions, Supabase for user data and logins. And actually Stripe also handles logins. And Vercel, that sets it up and publishes it to the internet so you can add a domain name. And Vercel is like this really like modern, efficient edge network that makes it global for you automatically. That's kind of cool, so you don't have to think about that. It's very cheap. I really like Vercel for building, but they're kind of expensive if you scale, but it's free to start, so I don't know how they make money. So, and then ideogram. Like I showed you earlier, I'll show you now. Ideogram is really useful for making this landing page look professional, so I highly recommend it. You don't have to use it. The other thing you can do is, if you don't have ideogram, like it's right now we're letting everyone do it with their own API key. Maybe I can add it when it's out of beta. If we can add it to everyone, I don't know what the rate limit didn't seem that great. I don't know. So, but right now you can add it yourself, and it'll save you a lot of time generating professional products and logos. It does the logo for you and all that stuff. But instead of using that, you can go generate the images yourself, or even make them yourself if you're like a designer, and that's great. Then I can show you in the editor how to input your own images. Okay, so maybe we'll start that soon. And yeah, so this loading bar, you'll see that when it gets to the end, it takes about 5 minutes. But at the end of the 5 minutes, your landing page, the sign-in button, will actually let you sign in and charge customers instantly. Okay, so let's go over like how to set that up and how to do all that, and go over the process. So I'm going to go over the whole process of setting up all the keys from end to end. And then at the end of we're over the time anyway, but I'm going to try and play around with it and like generate like websites and products and things like that. And so like maybe we'll ask users what we want to build next and stuff, and do like a live jam. That'd be kind of fun. So all right. So to set up live mode, you just need our extension. Actually, you don't need to install anything on the desktop. So log into cheatlayer.com. You can set this up in a new Chrome profile, but I don't think it's necessary for this. Make sure it's just Google. Per live mode, it doesn't seem to interfere, I guess. Automations, it does. And then download our Chrome extension. And maybe I'll do it with you guys. And then when you install it, it's going to actually send you back here to our website. Yeah, it sends us back. I'm going to switch to my version because I have more features. I like it. Okay, you guys will get this version maybe in the next few hours or day or something. It has a few more features that makes us a little bit more intuitive, fixes a few things, but you can do most of these basically. Okay, so let's see. All right, once we're installed, you can hit Alt S on any website, and this gives you access to Project Atlas actually without installing any keys. So you can start this without installing any keys. I've installed all my keys already, so you can see what it looks like. I'm just going to show you what the end result is, maybe just to motivate you. And then we'll go through the process of setting all these keys up, because it's maybe like tedious for like 5-10 minutes. But once you do it once, you're set. Every website you build will have Stripe logins, authentication, like professional images, and you can start charging customers immediately. It's really cool. So it's kind of worth it, and bear with me here. So I'm going to start with generate a landing page. So hit Alt S and then describe what you want Project Atlas to build for you. And you can actually go to another website, like an existing website that's in your market, and say, generate a landing page that looks like this, or clone this landing page and make it for dogs, or make it for your market, or whatever. And I'll actually do it. Like, take the same style and all that stuff and build you something that looks similar. This can save you time because a lot of landing pages look kind of similar for a reason. I'm not sure that that's the best design, but for now we're in a local maxima in design for landing pages. And there might be like other maxima in the space that make a lot more money. We've just never seen them. Maybe AI will discover them and stuff. But right now they all kind of look the same. It's kind of funny. So just like get that general features, user proof, pricing, sign up, make it like a funnel so they at the end of it they answer all their questions. You don't send them anywhere else with like external links, and you like answer any like objections they may have by the end of it. So generate a landing page form, real estate firm. Yeah, let's just start with that. Maybe for dogs. It's a simple one, and then I'll add features and the first time you do this, if you have ideogram linked, it's going to take like 10 to 20 seconds because it's actually generating the images. I should put up notifications for this. We'll probably make this a little bit more intuitive, but it's okay. It's working. Just give it like 10 to 20 seconds. It's generating all the ideogram images for you, including a logo, a hero, stock images, product images. See, there's the hero image. It's a clean house. Dogs. And there's even a logo. There should be. I don't know where it is. We'll do another one. I'll find the logo. Let's see. Okay, so when it generates it, if you've set up all the keys like I have, this is what happens. So it goes through this loading bar that I actually built with live mode itself. I didn't write any of this code. And shows you that it's cloning it to GitHub. So in your GitHub account, you'll see that you have a new GitHub repository. See, just updated now. And this is cloning the template we built, and it's like now step-by-step cloning it. This is kind of cool if you're a developer, because there's no API to do this. In order to do this, we use live mode to generate very tedious code. Like I was talking about this earlier, tedious things that I wouldn't have time to do myself or wouldn't consider. We use live mode to clone the entire repo in a file system in the browser, and then use that to send it to another repo, and then use that to clone it to Vercel. That's a very convoluted way because there's no API to do this for some reason. And so you can see, if you like check this, you can see it's actually doing all these little files. Yeah. And they're like right up against the rate limit for GitHub, so they might get angry, but I tested it, so it should be good. So once this is done, it continues. I mean, it's showing you what the files are in here too as well. So that was just like an Easter egg for developers, maybe. I'm gonna wait for this to finish so that we can see how it goes. But this is like way easier than setting this up yourself. It usually takes like an hour. You'll go back and forth, and I still mess up. A lot of developers still don't do this. A lot of developers still buy templates. I think that's probably gonna disappear soon, because this generates a template for you every time. Like the custom template is kind of great. And what you can do is, while this is going, you don't have to wait for this. You can open this in a new tab, and we can keep editing it and adding features and stuff like that. So let's see. We open this in a new tab. You notice that when I generated a website, it opened a new tab. So imagine you're going to someone's like landing page and trying to clone it. It'll create a new tab on cheatlayer.com. And if you go to cheatlayer.com with this Atlas URL and your name, this is your dedicated live mode landing page. In the future, we'll probably add like an unlimited number of these to let you publish many of these, maybe. Right now, it's limited to one. Okay, oh, now it's setting this up. So now it's setting up GitHub. So it's going to automate setting this up. Okay, now it's set that up. Now it's going to get a application key. Okay, now it's got the application key. So I'm not doing anything. It's automating all this setup. Normally, you would have to do this, or I would have to show you how to do this in a video. You don't have to think about this anymore because it does the whole thing for you. And then now it's setting up Supabase. It took those application keys from GitHub. Now it has to paste them into Supabase. And even to automate this part, we needed Chrome to simulate human key presses because there's extra security. And it's done it. Now it's going to save it. It's just fun to watch. I've seen this like dozens of, like hundreds of times now. It's kind of funny. But even every time it's like fun to like watch and go and do this because it's exciting. Okay, so now, all right, this is the last part. So now in like 30 to 60 seconds, it's going to deploy the product to Vercel, give you like a public landing link that's your own that you can hook to a domain, and then add products to Stripe. And then so that when you log in, you'll automatically have like some pre-built products, but then it's all set up such that if you go to your Stripe account and add a product, it will automatically mirror it into your website and or delete a product. It'll mirror it into your landing page. So I'll just wait like maybe 30 seconds. Oh no, I can do this. While we're waiting, I can show you how to edit this. So when you open this, like over time, let me just go a little bit quickly. When you open this in a new tab, this your Atlas URL, this is your dedicated live mode URL. Maybe you should call it live. But you can now open Cheat Layer again, and this is now like a special mode. So this mode, when you're on this page, you can hit Alt, and you can select things to edit them. And you can edit them two different ways. You can edit them by clicking and directly editing them very quickly, or you can ask Project Atlas, like a software engineer, to do it for you. And it can do both, everything. It can do everything on the page. It can edit anything on the page for you. You just ask it. But sometimes it's like faster just to see. Let me show you what I mean. So I can just like click this, and I can just change this to say Cheat Layer. And that's done. So I don't have to wait for it to generate something else. So that's done. And then if we want to regenerate this into Vercel, just click this deploy button, and that'll regenerate the latest version into Vercel. And then you can delete elements really quickly, and you can change the color of things. So this says blue, you make this red. It's that's updated instantly. So you can see it's kind of easy to edit it, just like clicking and tell it what you want. But now let's say maybe we want like something more sophisticated, like something only a software engineer could build for us. So just like I mentioned, we built our entire agents dashboard, this thing. I didn't write any of this code now. All these forms, all of these integrations, I made a point to do that just to prove that it's possible. Didn't write any of the code, but it's also easier. Like I wouldn't want to. Like we would, like I mentioned, we would have wasted so much time. So, oh, this is the Vercel URL. See, it's vercel.app. So this is now our published Vercel URL that's live on the internet. I might have to wait for it to do a few more configurations. Let's see. And if you click the sign in button, see what happened? Normally, if you do live mode and you click the sign in button, it just goes to our website. But if you have a Vercel set up and you've set up all these keys, which I'm going to show you how to do next, it will make this a real thing. Like you can charge customers now. This is a professional landing page. I mean, we can add better pictures, I think. Make it look like we can make this look more professional, but you can emulate any professional style looking landing page with these tools very quickly with the prompt. And then as soon as it's done, they can sign in and they can log in. let me log in. This might not be done. Let me see. Oh, it's done. Cool. Let's see. Sometimes it sends it here. Ah, there it is. Log in. It's done. Cool. Now I'm logged in. I have a lot of products on my Stripe account, but you get the idea. It mirrors whatever you want, and you can immediately like charge customers and subscribe. Let me see if this is set up. Yep. So you can immediately now start charging customers. We set up this $10 and $100 one for you. That's why there's so many there automatically every time. So I should automate probably clearing this out from our Stripe account because people are I'm still learning like what are the most intuitive ways to do all these things. So feel free to send us feedback and all that stuff. We're making it better. So in the future, this won't just be the landing page and the front end. You'll be able to edit the back end, add all your API keys. You'll be able to create back end products and features with, which is exciting. You don't even have to, you can just tell it to use that API and knows the key and it builds things, and it's exciting. So I'm excited because I can build so many cool products that I've been wanting myself, that just for myself. Like I've been wanting this note-taking app that just does maybe I'll do that today. Like this note-taking app that just like goes and does research on the first few steps for me, so that it motivates me, or it even like helps me like jumpstart these ideas quickly. And I have this huge like 12-page to-do list, and I just want to paste that into this new note-taking app that I want to build, and it just kind of goes into the internet and does research and stuff like that, or uses the models to like build it for me, even like generate the code, and I just click, it's done. That would be so cool, right? So I want that. And like I don't have time to build that, but very soon, I mean, maybe even today, we could do some of that. I'll show you. I'm going to do like a live jam on live mode, and we're going to build things. So, all right. So this is all set up for me because I've set up all these keys. Let me show you guys how to do this, and so you can start making money like instantly, charging customers, validating ideas, and all this fun stuff. So this is all set up. Let me show you how it looks like in your Vercel account. Go to Vercel. Let's check the stream health. We're good. Dashboard. Okay. This one was published 5 minutes ago. Visit. Okay, so as you can see, it's built here. Every time you update anything to the website, it rebuilds it automatically for you. So it'll rebuild it here, publish it live. Any feature you add and stuff like that, it'll rebuild it. And see, I had to click, if you click visit, then you can come here, and then everything is, all this is stuff. And if you want to add a domain name, like make it like a, go buy something on GoDaddy, you go to settings and domains. Now it's a real thing, like a professional website. Someone spent like, I was like 1.8 million on friend.com recently. And that was like their entire marketing strategy. And it worked, and it's kind of crazy. Like the solution space is so completely like reset. Like the I feel like it's the beginning of the internet. You can do anything. Like, don't listen to someone. If they tell you can't do anything, you can almost do anything. Because the model can help you build anything. So it's kind of cool. All right, so let's now show you how to set up all this stuff. So I'm going to reset everything, and we're going to walk through setting up everything from scratch. So if you go back to cheatware.com, this takes about 5 minutes, but it's totally worth it. Especially the ideogram thing. I think that's totally worth it, but it like costs like $40 or something minimum to get it now. But that's just pay as you go. So you can pay $40 once and like never use all those tokens maybe or something. But I like ideogram. You'll like it too. It's like the state of the art now. And it kind of, it takes like $1 or something for each landing page. I don't know. But when we have time, we'll add like a free limit for users so that your first few websites are like free with ideogram or something, right? I just had to launch this really quickly. So you come back here, you can click reset all keys. It's going to erase everything. Oh no. Okay. Oh, I feel so naked. All right. So let's go to GitHub first. Let's do this in order. And the order, I mean, I guess it kind of matters. It saves you a little time. So if you do an order, so GitHub. So in GitHub, we want to go click your icon, or sign up for a GitHub account. Everything's kind of central to that. It's useful. It saves all your code so you never lose it and stuff like that. Click settings, and it's free. Oh, and the other cool thing is, if you're like not a developer, this might not make sense to you, but I don't know. For some reason, developers really like sharing or looking at this chart. Excuse me. This how many contributions you did in the last year, because it's like how much you code or something. So if you want to look like a hard code coder, just install live mode, and all these are live mode commits. So you look like a like 2,000 contributions, because it's copying all those files from one thing to another and committing them each one. It's kind of like a hack, but it's worth it. But it's kind of like you look like a hard code coder automatically, even if you don't code. It's funny. So, all right, then let's go to developer settings, personal access token, classic token, and then generate a new token. So the way I got here was I was in settings, developer settings, personal access token, and then there's a classic token, not the other one. And then generate a token, and they have it again here, so you don't mess up. Classic, and then you can call this whatever. Under note, expiration is no expiration. Repo, packages, just click repo and packages, and that's the only scopes you need. and then scroll down and click generate token. Okay, come back here and paste it into GitHub and click OK. And it'll show up like that. And then I'm going to delete this. Okay. And then let's see. Let's set up Vercel. Account settings. Settings. So when you log into Vercel, you got to go to account settings, settings, and then tokens, and then give the token a name, cheat layer, scope is full account, expiration is no expiration, and get that key and paste it in there. I'm just going to delete that right now. And paste it in here. Whoops. You don't delete it. You should not delete it. You should keep your key. I'm just deleting because I'm broadcasting it on the internet. So I mean, I'll set my own keys up again, so it's okay. All right. So next, let's do Supabase. Oh, actually, we also have to go to this GitHub Vercel. I have a link to it in one of these. Let's see. Oh, maybe I took it down. Okay. GitHub Vercel. It's in the tutorial. Integration. There. Wait. Yes. And it's in a GitHub website. The Vercel app. Click configure, or you start it, or you have to probably connect it and log into Vercel. And once that's done, you'll see that it has read permissions, write permissions, all repositories safe. Okay. So we've now set up, presumably, GitHub and Vercel. And this is all recorded, so you can come back after the class if you get lost, don't worry about it. And maybe in the next bootcamp, we'll even automate like creating these accounts and setting up the keys, because we're going to run out of things to automate soon. So this is like the hardest part now. It's kind of funny. Let's set up Supabase. So in Supabase, let's go here. Maybe I should delete this and create a new project. Yeah, let's create a new project. Okay, so create a new project after you log into Supabase. It's gonna, I think, ask you to create an organization first. So I've created an organization already. I don't need to do it. Create a project, and then you can call that project anything. Generates a password, and click create new project. Okay, so copy the first key that you see under project API keys after it's generated, and go back to the dashboard and click Supabase under agent settings, and then paste it in the first line. That's the API key. And then next, let's go back to Supabase and copy the service role key, and go back to the agent dashboard, copy the service role key. If you're wondering why we need so many keys for Supabase, is because it does authentication, and authentication is a pain in the butt for developers and everyone, actually. Like, I think every developer still struggles with authentication somewhat. They're still stressed about it. So there's no like API to do it or something. So we automated, to automate the whole process, you need all these keys actually. So we use cheat layer, like what I was showing you earlier. We actually use cheat layer to automate the whole process and things like that. All right. And the URL won't show up until it's finished. So I guess this has to finish. Yeah, all right, now it's done. All right. And then URL will be here on the same page. Come back, let's get the URL. And then let's create something like a account level token. So we got to go back to the dashboard. So click the Supabase icon. And then under all your organizations, there's this access token thing. It's an account level access token. So generate a new token, call it whatever you want, copy it, and then paste it in here. Okay, so before you do anything, make sure that your Chrome extension is installed for this next step. So this next step is kind of fun. It does some setup in Supabase for you, but it doesn't work unless you have the Cheatler extension installed, which automates that process. That's how we automate like all the setups and stuff like this. So right, click OK, and if you have the extension installed, it's going to open this up. Don't freak out. It's normal. It's not hacking you. It's going to look like it's hacking you because it's writing all this scary code, but it's actually necessary to set up user accounts. If you look at the code, you'll see it's just setting up your user accounts and all that stuff. And it had to simulate human key presses because this input for some reason didn't allow doing it the normal way. So it's doing it like slowly maybe. So it takes about a minute. We can watch this. This is fun. And when it finishes, it's going to set up another table. But this is all important, so it's worth it. Don't click anywhere, or and if you mess up, just go back and click OK again. It'll do it again. That's fine. And when it's done, it's going to set up all of this complicated setup for you. Like you can imagine why developers don't like this, because there's so many steps and tedious things that you can mess up and get the wrong key and like enter it. We've automated strictly so that it's always correct, and so you don't have to worry about that. And we even automated this part. This one was interesting to automate because for some reason Supabase doesn't yet have an API for their SQL editor. I don't know why. It's an interesting thing. But maybe it's like a security reason. I don't know. But in order to do this, every developer has to go to their website, click the SQL editor, write SQL code, or paste it in here, and click run for some reason. Doesn't that seem archaic? Anyways, so we automated that, and then maybe we can help them automate it. Like we can give them a Chrome extension to automate it. Oh, that would be cool. Because I'm sure every developer spends so much time on this. Like, or I used to waste a lot of time on this, and I used to get it wrong. And a lot of developers still get it wrong. It's kind of funny. So, all right, it's almost done. And then after it's done, it has like this scary pop-up that it also has to click. I'll just wait. Oh, maybe while this is going, I can set up my other keys here. That's it. I'm going to set up my other keys here so I can do a few more things at the end of the class. Like I want to do a live mode. If you guys want to stay, I'm going to like build something live just to show you how fun it is. So maybe I'll ask like users what they want to build and try it myself. Because you can literally build anything. You can just ask it step by step. Just like we built all of our dashboards step by step. I typically recommend starting with the riskiest part, like the hardest part of the design, and getting that working, and then working backwards and building around that. So like what we did was we started with like the chat agents interface to chat with them and built around that and stuff. Okay. And then new token. Or you know what? I don't need to do all this. I only need a ideogram. And it's okay if that gets leaked for like a few minutes. That's fine. All right, it's done. All right, it's set up. And then when it finishes and it clicks the button, you'll see success, no rows return. And it closes itself and it does it again. So now it's going to do another table. This is our tables for Cheatler using Supabase. So in Cheatler, we use Supabase for our agent data, which means that when your agents have conversations in SMS, phone, and email, it stores all those conversations into Supabase as embeddings, kind of like RAG, so that you have like this infinite sales data so that your agents get smarter over time. So we haven't really talked about this yet, but this is like something we can do in the future when we have enough data, is you don't have to start from zero essentially. You can tell it to bring up all the successful conversations our customers or even you have had in the past in your history, like sales conversations, and then tell it to copy that copywriting style so that it increases your conversion rate over time. Because if you just keep that prompt exactly the same, just say, bring up previous successful conversation and copy that style, and then it keeps having conversations, some of those will randomly be, like, try this, it happens. Even if you do this like without agents and automation, some of those conversations, if you do cold outbound and high volume, will be correct. And it just basically, like, they respond or they buy something. And so it learns from that basically constantly without you having to touch anything. It just constantly gets better and better, and it keeps pulling back the best copywriting. It's a really cool design. I mean, I'm sure other products are figure this out too, but it's kind of obvious, I think. But I like this. It's kind of cool. It's really useful for sales and stuff. All right, so it's set that up, and then it closes itself. So that's all set up. So next, let's go back to the agent's dashboard, agent settings. We now just need to set up ideogram, and this is the only one I really need to set up. So let's go to ideogram. I really like this. And before DALL-E 3 and all that stuff, this seemed to be like the only model that could get like text right. DALL-E 3 can now sort of get it, but this is even better than DALL-E 3 now. They just released the new 2.0 like days ago, literally. So it was only possible days ago, and we added it to this website builder. So we're the only, I'm pretty sure we're the only website builder on the planet that uses this. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone else, it wasn't that hard. So maybe someone else added it too, but it's cool. So this is the state-of-the-art model that you can use to generate state-of-the-art professional photos, landing pages, heroes, logos, all that stuff. Okay, so click API. And then you have to click create an API key. It's like in beta now. I think I would get it before they close it down or something. This is super useful. It costs like $40, I think, when I got it the first time, but it's one-time payment. So they like, yeah, see, they've taken $11 and I've done 144 generations so far. It's like 8 cents, I guess, each. But it's worth it. These are all really cool. So I'm having fun with it. So, I mean, if you sell this product, you're going to make more than $11, I think, if you sell a product. I mean, charge enough that you do, but yeah, it's kind of worth the investment. Even just as a product, I think Ideogram is really cool and useful for marketing purposes, because we've been getting images from it for like text-based. I've been using it for marketing. Like you might not have noticed, like all of our Bootcamp images that had text, those are all ideogram images, the old version. So I really like it. So all right, create an API key and copy this key. Maybe I'll leak that for a few minutes just to have fun. And set that key. All right, that's the really fun one. Like all these other ones you can set up maybe later, because this one lets you iterate very quickly. And like I mentioned, I showed you that you can open that Atlas page in a new tab to keep working. But if you don't want to keep doing that, maybe just don't set up these things. You can reset your keys, just set up Ideogram. It allows you to iterate a little bit faster. And then when you're ready, set up these other things to launch, to start charging customers. Set this up. Oh, I forgot Stripe, my bad. Okay, Stripe. Most important one. I mean, you can see our growth. And then all right, so I created a new Stripe account. So when you do this the first time, actually, you'll have to like mention your business details and all that stuff. So you'll have a little bit more setup than I have. So maybe I can show that. I don't think I have time. So yeah, you'll have this. So go to Stripe, sign up to Stripe. I don't like Stripe because they're like risky as a business, I think, because they can ban you at any time, but that's like a downstream problem, I think. Like you can switch to another if you have customers, like focus on getting customers first. This just helps you like get customers. Like you can switch to another thing if you need to. We switched to Paddle because they're much easier, I think, than Stripe, but they charge a little bit more. So they do some of the work for us and it's less headaches. And so it's kind of worth it. Maybe in the future someday when we have a big team, we can do Stripe or when they're better. But for you, it doesn't matter. For me, it doesn't matter. For validating ideas, it's perfect because you just need to be able to charge someone actually, because that strongly validates the idea. A waitlist is not going to validate an idea, because if you do a waitlist, you'll realize that most of them don't actually pay you. Just try it and you'll see. It's because most people like saying that they like your idea because they don't want to hurt your feelings and they want to support you, but they may not really need the product. Like they may not be willing. Like I mentioned, it's not urgent enough for them that they have like some other way to do it. They can just go pick up the food or something and stuff. So, all right. So once you get here, you got to go to developers, and then API keys, and there's a publishable key. I'm gonna set that up. Click Stripe, Stripe Pub. Click paste that under the second one, strike pub, and then create a secret key. Oh, damn it. I always forget something. 172359. 359. Could be when we give it a name. Copy that. And I also don't need this, so I'm going to delete it right away. You shouldn't delete it. You should keep your key. I'm just deleting it for security reasons. Oh, God. They make you do that? That's funny. I mean, that's good, I guess. 910014. I don't want someone to delete my keys. Okay. You should not delete your keys as soon as you create them. You should keep them. I'm just doing this for security reasons. And then you can now see my key. That's okay. So, okay. There we go. All right. I think everything should be set up now. You should be ready to go. So, I went around and deleting my keys just because for security reasons, but like this other stuff right now isn't important to me. I know I can set it up later and you can set it up as well. And as soon as I nail my design for my product, I'm doing this with you guys as well. I'm building a cool product. I think I want to do that notes app. Maybe I'll do that now. If you guys have ideas for things you want to build, you can leave it in the chat, and I'll maybe try it at the end. So I'm going to try and show you some like the limits of what it can do. So some of the interesting things you can do is like you can add APIs here. That's really cool and use them. But let me just show you like some interesting things. So okay, let's see. Landing page. Sorry. Website with a full screen 3D animation of colorful balls that bounce around the screen. So this is like actually a software engineer. So anything you've seen on the internet in a website, it can build for you. Just describe it. It's kind of fun. Okay. Bounce on the screen. Maybe that's good enough. Let's just try that. Oh yeah, the first time it does it's going to take like 20 seconds, like I mentioned, because if you have ideogram, it does the images for you. There it goes. Oh, interesting. It's generating code. So if it looks like it's not doing anything for a while, it's probably generating code. Ah, cool. Look at this image. That's great. I like this. See, this is a brand new image that doesn't exist anywhere on the internet, and it might even help you on SEO and stuff. Okay, and this is the logo it generated. It didn't do that last time. Let me show you what the logo is. Logo, weird logo. I didn't give it a name, so maybe that's right. Here's the thing. Maybe I have to add it. Oh, maybe it thought. Okay, hold on. Let me see. I can tell it to add it. Oh, here it is. My balls. So this is like actually a 3D scene. It's like interactive. You can tell it to like maybe move with the mouse. Let me try that and see. Make the 3D balls move around reactive to the mouse. I'm just having fun. This is not related to a product at all. This is like a really fun tool if you like building products, because like you can build whatever you can imagine and you can iterate it at the speed of thought. And it's like a software engineer who's doing these things for you. Okay, so let's see what it did. Oh, I think it broke it. Hold on. Okay, let me do another. Oh, I see. It's using the mouse. Okay. If it does something wrong, you can tell it what it did wrong and what you want instead, and it'll fix it, just like a software engineer. So I can't scroll. Add the 3D ball animation to the top of the page and make the 3D colorful balls move reactively to the mouse movement. Okay. Like, it frequently makes mistakes, like software engineers, and like maybe it makes a different color than you want or whatever. You just basically describe what you see and what you want instead. It's kind of like how we iterated the um the cheat layer dashboard. Let's see here. Oh, the other way to fix things, let me show you that. Maybe hold on. Is it downloads every version here and in your GitHub. Oh, here's the note-taking app. Maybe I'll build a note-taking app. Oh, wait, let me explain this. So it downloads every version into your downloads folder or your GitHub. So if it goes off the rails like that, like it just did then, I can go back to a version I like this one maybe. And let's see. 2 hours ago, 2 minutes ago, probably this one. No, maybe this one. Yeah, okay, I like this one. And then you can take the code from this one and then open it in a new page. And then let's add a feature to this. So let's say, add a note-taking app at the top of this page that allows the user to paste in notes and turn them into bullet points automatically. And then you paste in the code and then run it again. So this is what happened. This is like a way to do versioning. So it's always in your GitHub, always downloaded. If you want to go back to a version, just go copy that code and say add this to this. And you can branch off that way and stuff like that. Oh yeah, it's generating images. For a note-taking app that I feel like should exist now, and it just doesn't. And it could be free and unlimited and help so many people, especially me. Okay, let's see what it does here. Let me put some text or something. Oh, it's not done yet. Hold on. It's still generating the code. Is it finished? Oh yeah, finished. Okay. And then what you can do is you can open this in a new tab. If you set up like all that other stuff, then you can keep iterating really quickly. You don't have to worry about that. So let's see how this works. I should maybe pop these up in the background next, I think, so it doesn't do that. That's cool. Okay. Let's see. Let me paste something in. Oh, no. Paste in multiple lines. Oops. It's automating too much. And then convert to bullet point. Yeah, cool. See, it made this little app for me. So this is like not the app that I want, but it's kind of getting there. So I want it to be like a Notion note-taking app where it creates the UI for you from pasting. Like I can paste in a huge document, and then each bullet point I can click on, and it opens up a new thing that does research for me using OpenAI or whatever. And oh yeah, this might happen sometimes. It just means that it hasn't deployed yet. So just wait and then refresh the page, and it'll deploy. You can check how long it's, how close it is to deploying if you go to your dashboard. Sometimes the timing takes longer depending on your queues in Vercel, and they like, oh, 58 seconds ago. So they might delay it a little bit depending on like how many of these you have going. So here, you can watch it here. You don't have to, but if you're wondering what's going on. All right, let me go back here and keep playing with this a little bit. So now we're just having fun. You guys, I'm like, this is like the end of the class. If you have to go, that's okay. You can come back, watch the recording and stuff. I'm just gonna show you. You can build literally anything just by like asking it and adding steps. Just like I recommend going to the riskiest part of your product, getting that working first, and then adding steps like adding features and like UI around that. This is so much fun because like you can make products that are not related to agent soon. When we have the next live mode update, you'll be able to update the backend dashboard. This is right all the like the landing page right now. So maybe this is useful for like lead magnets. You can make these free tools. This was free. It's not costing me anything to run this. It runs on the the client's machine. So you can make like, even the mortgage calculator was like that. So you can make really cool lead magnets, landing pages to drive traffic to your business after you validate your idea. Don't do that first. But like soon we can edit the back end and the dashboard of your Vercel product. I want to do that because then I can put this Node app in the back end, and like we can just immediately, like in one prompt, I can just say, do this, build this Node app, and it will build the back end and the front end soon. So next we'll automate the back end. It'll create the Node app in the dashboard. It'll only give customers access to it until they charge, and everything is set up from one prompt. That's so exciting, right? Like you can see this is nearly done, like nearly what I wanted, and I just need to keep adding a few more features. Let's add a few more. So, all right. Allow the user to click generated bullet points, which then opens maybe a modal or something on the right or something. I'll start with maybe a modal. Modal that shows the text and more details. And add my next feature. And you can see like everything, if you go back, watch the recording of this, everything we did, like, oh, what is this? Oh, maybe it got confused. Well, we'll find out. Everything we did, like if you go back and watch my recording, like all this stuff was all English targets. Like there's nothing like technical that I did. Ooh, it combined all these things. This is like all a mess now, but you can fix it and stuff. This is just like me playing. Okay, let's see if this works. Ah, cool, see? When you click them now, it does things. It shows you what you clicked. See, we're building a product live now. This is like a product. I want this product. Well, I want to next go. So my next thing would be like, when you click it, it goes to maybe OpenAI and like, or the Perplexity API and like does some research for me, like to help me start the process. Like it tells me what the next step is or does all the research that I need to do as many steps as possible. Because there's this like theory in productivity where if you just start something for like 5 minutes or start the first 30 seconds, you'll keep going. Like give yourself like 30 seconds to do something, and you'll just motivate yourself to keep going eventually. And this kind of does that. It kind of automates that part for you. It like does the first 30 seconds for you. So when you click it, you're, oh, hey, I can just go do that. Why not? Why don't I just go do that? And so I think that's really cool. It would probably save me a lot of time. So this is, I think this is maybe going to be the product that I'm going to try and validate. So I'm going to build a landing page for this, and I'm going to do the same thing you guys are doing. I'm going to email blast. I'm going to see if anyone pays for it. If no one pays for it, I'm going to go on to my next idea. And as soon as someone pays for it, I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to show you guys we validated it, and we're going to show you the growth metrics and all that stuff this next week. So, all right. I think that's enough for today. I've gone over everything you need to go get your first customer. Don't worry about building anything yet. Always sell before you build. You have everything you need to validate an idea with a professional looking landing page that like even builds like entire products and whatever you want, really. Oh wait, let me see if there's any more. Did anyone submit any ideas? Let's see. Oh yeah, there's some questions. Hold on. Let me answer questions. Let's see. Adding graph. Yeah, we did try like faster models and things, and it was exciting, but the trade-off was that like the best models tend to be worth the delay. I don't think anyone's looking for speed right now. I think people are more looking for reliability and solutions. That doesn't exist yet. Once reliability and solutions exist, I think we'll probably optimize. Divi or Elementor code. I'm sorry, I don't know what that is, but if it translates to, oh, Elementor, okay, I know. Those are like WordPress templates or something. So if it translates to HTML, you can go to any website because their output is always HTML, and then you can say generate something that looks like this, and it's not going to copy the code. It's just going to look at it and say, okay, how do I make this using new code actually? So yeah, it works. It actually takes a screenshot of the web page. Oh, maybe I can show you guys that. I didn't show you that, right? How to clone a website. Let's do this. So we're promoting Reply Guy. You should check them out. They do like they're a cool product. They came up with this idea where it does like Reddit research for you and then replies naturally, providing value to the customer, and then adds your product, like adds your product at the end. It's kind of funny. I think they get banned, so be careful using them. But so generate a landing page that looks like this, but for an AI automation service for dogs. Okay, let me keep going with questions here. Yeah, just log in, then download your Chrome extension. You can do everything I did in this call. That's what we did in the beginning. You might need a new Chrome profile, but for landing pages, like for other automations, you might need it because other Chrome extensions like Loom things cause problems. But for this, everything I did, you can follow what I did. Okay, cool. It's generating a. Oh, I didn't do much. Sorry. Maybe I have to do that again. Sometimes it goes off the rails. Let's see. Okay. Generate. I know this works. Hold on. Generate a landing page that looks like this for dogs. Keep questioning. Same product, we connected for more than one account. For example, but I have 2 Stripe accounts. No, you need to, for now, create 2 separate accounts. And the way we do this is under the business plan, you can add tenants. Yeah, teammates, basically. Oh, there it goes. For now. I mean, maybe in the future we can let you somehow figure that out. It's not really a high priority, because like I mentioned, I'm helping people who are homeless and struggling and stuff like that. So some of these things I'll worry about eventually, but I'm just trying to get into their hands everything they need to charge customers with just an idea, and soon enough that they can take advantage of this next wave. Because we got very lucky with the last wave, I feel like. And a lot of you guys, you just need to time this right, and you will make a lot of money. You just need to time it right and find a problem that doesn't have a solution on Google. And a lot of people could make a lot of money now. I wish, if I wasn't building Cheatler, there would be so many things like this Node app that I would be building. That's kind of funny. So, okay. Oh yeah, so I built this reply guy thing, kind of the same colors and stuff. Okay, so I guess the same background color, but you can be explicit and tell it what you wanted to copy. Yeah. Do you have set up different projects for separate types of projects or clients? Different projects for separate types of projects or clients. Oh no, so this is right now it's set up all for self-service for your customer, for our customer, sorry. For white labels, for live mode is not there's no live mode white label. The things we white label is the agent you sell and the website. You can use that website to sell it to other customers. So this is intended for you to build the landing page to sell it to other customers, and the product you're selling to them is actually the agent, not the landing page generator. I mean, you can you can actually generate a landing page generator using live mode. Isn't that crazy? You can make another live mode with live mode. So if you want to do that, you can do that. It's kind of cool. Maybe I should do that. Just so it's like a weird promotional thing. That's kind of fun. Yo dog, I heard you like live mode. Okay, next question. Do you set up? Okay, we answered that. Can we build an agent builder that can set up, schedule, Yeah, I mean, you can kind of do anything with live mode. Like I mentioned, we built our agents dashboard with live mode. So you can build an agent service, like an agent builder that goes and does automations. But that's a really difficult thing to build an agent platform from experience. You have to go and do all these other connectivity stuff, but nothing stops you from doing it. You can definitely go do that like we did. Yeah, it's right. Paddle's great, yeah. Pull Amazon purchases for taxes. Yes, you can. Yeah. You can upload, you can use PDFs. You can process PDFs, you can process local files. OpenAgent Studio can process local files. You can process files on the internet. You can download the PDF, you can download invoices, then process them. A lot of document processing things we've solved. A lot of navigation things we've solved. All the navigation document things we've solved. So if that's the question for if you can use that as a product, you can do that. Yeah, that can be one of your product ideas. Is Ideogram, they are now subscription. Ideogram, I don't know. I'm using 2.0. 2.0 is worth it, I think, but it's you don't have to use it for live mode. You can generate images with your own image. If you have another image generator, You can, maybe I'll show you how to do that. You can generate an image with another image generator, and then when you get back into this live mode, hit Alt, and then just like select the image. Oops. Where did it go? I lost it. I do it here. All right. Alt, select the image. Am I doing that on? Oh, I'm clicking it. Oh, it's a link. That's funny. Okay, it's okay. Let's do it on this one. Alt, select the image. I mean, there has to be a way to do it. I gotta figure that out. Alt, and then select the image, and then you can actually change the source of the image if you get it from some other service. Like, let me get like a random image from somewhere. Shipwire.com. I'll just get our logo. Got the image address. Oh God. And then paste it in here, and it updates it instantly. Click close and done. Let's do it again. So many tabs. We're probably gonna like clean this up so that we close some of these tabs. They should be, most of them close automatically, I guess. All right, next question. I'm getting tired. I've been up all night. It's kind of crazy. I'm so tired. Okay. Hey guys. Hey Akari. Hey David. Torbex. Wait, you're not. I know your real name. Dennis. Profil. Just mentioning up people who showed up. Thanks for showing up, Dan. Thanks for showing up, everyone. Let's see. Any more questions? What is a tenant? Tenant is someone who works in your same business. You're the business owner, and they're one of your employees, basically. Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's really exciting because it does feel like a lot of other startups are copying us, but they're not like they started after ChatGPT, I feel like, because it was the cool thing to do when they want to make a lot of money. But I'm very motivated to help these people who are struggling that I meet with regularly. Like, I feel bad for them. So I think part of the reason we went so far, like so fast, is that there was urgency in the problem that I was solving. And it was motivating to me because it was kind of meaningful to me. So if you find, like, there's a lot of problems like this. Find your thing. Find your project for the next few years. And I think it would be a good opportunity now because if you can pick something like this, you can actually solve, like, the solution space is so large now that in the future it's going to get easier to get customers. Oh my God, I even totally forgot to do the last 2 slides. Sorry guys. Let's just make sure I do this so that it's on the recording for people who left. And let me get back to the last 2 slides. Thanks for reminding me. That's a good question. Okay. How do I give a tenant access? Live chat support can give you help with that. Send them the email at cheatlayer.com or support@cheatlayer.com. Let's see. I think that's all the questions. Cool. All right. Let me just go through the last 2 slides. So, the current market, AI market, changes daily. Don't worry if you got to leave. We're way over time. It's okay. This is recorded. You can come back, check it out. It's important, though, because this will help you strategize, like, when picking your product, and, like, it might even save you, like, years of time. So, let me just explain this. The chart at the bottom shows our launches. It's very interesting, actually. So, if this first number here, this first launch last year was April 1st. It was a week after the ChatGPT launch. We didn't know that was going to happen. We just kind of timed it there. We had an event in January where we flew out a lot of users to this like posh mansion in LA for a hackathon, and we tried to launch then, but it wasn't working perfectly. So I didn't want to launch then. Like, key features that users need to use the product didn't work, so we couldn't have launched. So I fixed all those. We got it working, and we launched again. Always, like, keep launching. Actually, launch many times and launch as soon as you can, even sooner than you're comfortable. Like what we did, launch sooner than you're comfortable because these things happen. We had no idea ChatGPT was going to launch the week before us. And, like, if we had been a month later, we wouldn't have gotten anywhere near the traffic. So always launch as soon as possible. Launch many times so you get these opportunities, basically. And then, like, yeah, the timing, like I mentioned this in the earlier in the call. I don't think I'll reiterate that. Timing is important because the market changes. The same things that helped us, like, you can see that this was our first launch. We got #1 product of the day then. That didn't do that much, right? But what happened here was we won #2 product of the day. So the reason this happened is because, like, here not many people in the world knew about ChatGPT, but you can kind of see the inklings of people searching for it. It happened before our launch. You can see that, right? And then as soon as the launch, boom. So what happened was when we launched then, there were enough influencers who were primed to look for this that they found us and shared us, and that's how we got we didn't get most of our traffic from Product Hunt. Most of our organic traffic came from influencers, the halo effect of influencers who found us from their email list. So that's one of the secrets of Product Hunt, is actually their email list is way more valuable than getting to #1. You can get on the email list even if you're #7, as long as you're on the featured list, and they will blast you to, I don't know, they have like millions of users. It's a huge boost to everyone. But also, you get on the radar to people who care about products, which is influencers and all these things, and they will reshare you. You can go look at our website. You can see, like, I didn't meet any of these people. They just did this. It was exciting. And we just exploded and grew like 8K MRR, and so crazy just because of this. We got most of that organic traffic from these people, like these influencers. Shout out to these guys, Sina and Alicia, and like they made these daily dose. They made these things for us, and we got most of our traffic from other people finding from these and making these videos and copying them and all that stuff. So try to get that to happen. That's really cool. It's really hard to get that to happen. You have to like time it right, and you don't get that lucky normally. You have to normally reach out to influencers. I think we got really lucky with timing it right. So if you time it right, this happens to you. If you can time the next wave launch like right after it, this happens. So it's kind of cool. And yeah, now we get tons of organic. Okay, so this is when we won #2, and then we just launched again recently, right? What do you think happened after this? We went down. We didn't get any traffic. And why is that? Because the market changes constantly. And what that means is competitors who try to copy our playbook, like launching on Product Hunt, many did. You can go look them up on SEMrush. They don't have anywhere near that. They have like a fraction of this traffic because the market changes daily. The timing matters. All of this matters. It's like so this is like the whole point of the slide is the market changes daily. And if we had one #1 product like tomorrow, it wouldn't have done that much, I think, because there's so many now other tools like this that unless we did something significant, like it has to be like maybe right after the next model, we'll do another launch. We'll try it. We'll do another launch right after the next model with our new product market fit, where you just upload a video maybe, and that might do well, I think. So yeah, you have to think about all these things. You have to think about what the market is, if there's a solution on Google, if it's saturated, and like if you're actually solving problems people want, all that stuff. And then in order for you to understand how the market changes daily, this is a really interesting thing. When we launched last year, we got a lot of inbound interest from VCs, like Amazon and forget all the other ones, but that's like one of the bigger ones. A bunch of big VC firms. One even wanted to buy us. A couple of people wanted to buy us, including a company, and they all came to us because they found us through these launches. And stuff like that, basically. So, my point is that like, so when you do these launches, you meet with customers, but those VCs that came to us, they didn't really understand the market. Like most of them didn't when we first launched. I felt I was teaching them things, and the reason is you as a founder, you meet with customers daily, or you should. My point is this is how you understand the market is changing daily. So the way to understand how the market changes daily is to go meet with customers daily and VCs. These are your two big signals into the market. If you meet with customers daily, then you understand like what other tools they're using, what their problems are, why it's still a problem, things like that. You don't really know until you meet customers, and sometimes the entire product changes as soon as you meet customers. And VCs kind of give you like a high level overview, but they're not closer to the customer than the founder. So always the founder should actually know the market much better than VCs. It should be true. Otherwise, the VCs shouldn't invest in the founder. So it's kind of like a catch-22 or something. So it's interesting. So my point is that so the market changes daily. The way to know what the market is to run these experiments with customers, these objective experiments with statistical significance, with enough customers that you're not just talking to like a few, because that'll maybe throw you off in a direction. You're talking enough that maybe like 100, few hundred, that you know that, okay, we're getting like 10 people to buy this. Okay, we got to go build this. So, oh, the other cool thing was we predicted like I mentioned, my co-founder invested in Salesforce, and I know the co-founder showed me their first table and all that stuff. But we predicted the Salesforce would crash because like last year we were saying Salesforce, the model in your pocket when we launched last year. Like you can go look at our launch. We literally said Salesforce. Like the model in your pocket will be able to build HubSpot, Salesforce, and all these tools because they're not inventing it. If you go look at the technology in HubSpot and Salesforce, they're basically like a UI layer on databases, essentially. They're not, none of them really invent anything. I mean, maybe some AI things in Salesforce, but like, I mean, Salesforce has done a significant amount of AI things, but the fundamental core business that they sell doesn't invent things. It's a CRM, which means anyone, maybe in a year or two, this is going to happen. You're going to have an AI in your pocket that's free, that's going to be able to generate Lyft, Salesforce, DoorDash, like entire versions of them that you can go sell to other customers. It's going to be local. It's going to be more secure because it's local, and it's going to be free. So this other thing that like I didn't really talk about much yet is like it seems like it's hard to build products now, but I get the feeling that it's getting easier for us, and it's going to keep getting easier over time as these large monopolies crash. Because essentially what's going to happen is software is going to free. I talked a little bit about this earlier in the earlier slides. Like in the 90s, software is going to free. It wasn't free in the 90s. You can now arbitrage reasoning. And so what that'll probably do is that'll make a level playing field. So trying to understand what my point is here. There will be a level playing field in like 1 or 2 years. If everyone can generate Salesforce, HubSpot, Lyft, DoorDash, anything, Netflix in their pocket, how do you compete? Who's going to buy from who, right? Well, you can kind of see what's happening. So like you can see how technology affected markets and maybe predict what's going to happen. So what's likely going to happen is there's going to be more small businesses. People will likely still want someone to manage some of these things for them. I don't want to manage my like AWS or email client server because people will always do that. But if you had the option between paying HubSpot like or Google and a support rep you've never met and face to face, or the guy down the street who's your friend and will just call you or come over if you have a problem, and he charges less, which are you going to pick, right? That seems kind of obvious, right? So I'm very sure that like in 2 years, when the models catch up, this will be a completely different market where it gets easier. This is like counterintuitive, easier to get customers. And I'm trying to like convince people of this because people are afraid that they're going to lose their jobs or it's going to be hard to make hard to make money. It's actually going to get easier to get money because up until now, the monopolies had an unfair share. They just hoarded it because the software wasn't free. They were taking advantage of this. I mean, they should. Everyone should take advantage of like what you can do to make money, but it was a huge arbitrage opportunity, right? And that's going to zero. So essentially, this will probably be the hardest, but I would start now. The defensive mode, I've been thinking about this, is likely going to be personal relationships. So like I mentioned, in the future, imagine you can generate HubSpot, the same HubSpot that HubSpot has. You can pay the guy down your street less, and he knows you, and his support inevitably degrades at scale. I think that's just naturally going to happen. So personal relationships are likely going to be the defensive mode in all of these businesses, and it's going to be easier, which means you'll be able to pick, you can even pick HubSpot. I think there'll be many HubSpots around the country. There'll be a HubSpot in the Northeast for real estate, Southwest for cars, things like that. And they'll all get enough business because, again, these monopolies took everything for the last decade. You have no idea the scale of billions that they have, which is soon going to be, I mean, you personally might, like, but most of the people I talk to have no idea the scale of what's going to happen, I think. Like, it's going to be, a lot of money is going to get transferred to everyone, and it's going to be a level playing field, and it's going to basically become easier to build businesses. But I would start now because you can start building those personal relationships now and just pick something and just grow. It's going to get easier. This is why it's exciting. Okay, so just trying to motivate you guys because like there's a lot of people I've been talking who are like super bummed out and thinking that they're going to lose their job or like AI is going to make them like obsolete or something, but actually it's going to make the business you work for obsolete. And you will be able to because you know the inside, you will be able to generate that business in your pocket because you know how to build it, and then you can go compete with them. I don't think people realize. I mean, there's going to be a flip. One day there's going to be a flip where tons of people realize this, and the stock market crashes. Like, but it's not going to be a bad thing. It's going to be a good thing. It's kind of exciting for me, I think. So, all right. So that's the big opportunity. Well, I didn't really talk about. So, all right, we're way over time. I appreciate you guys if you stayed. But let me just really finish up here. So, essentially, like we talked about earlier, that this is probably not going to happen. I talked about a little bit this in the last slide. Like, it's going to get easier to get customers. We made this bootcamp 2 days so that I could get this in the hands of people who are literally struggling. So I think this is probably the best thing for them to make money soon. And like it's like in the early days of the internet, where if you wait a year, like if you had waited like months after we did, the market's completely different. It's harder, saturated, all this stuff. But we're like before the internet right now. Like it seems like we're in it, but we're actually before the internet. The internet hasn't started yet. It's about to start and explode, and you kind of have the comfort because I'm like your CTO. I'm like the CTO of all of our customers. We're building technologies that you can go use and sell to people, and I'm pushing the bleeding edge to help like people who like really need it as quickly as possible, and everyone gets the benefit of that. So I would take advantage of this, even if you're not struggling. I would just take advantage of this because there's a massive opportunity. One of the things like I talked about, like white labels, that's a massive opportunity. Generating these white labels, running them unlimited time, selling them for a lifetime deal, that's a viable business model now. Because in the 90s, all software was a lifetime deal, actually. That was a viable business model. And so it works. You can make a lot of money. I recommend this. And basically, I think, all right, so I just wanted to frame everything for you guys so you understand that it's going to get easier. This is probably like one of the most exciting times of my life. Like it should be probably for a lot of other people as well. And even if you have no experience, you do have experience. The experience that's going to be valuable in the next 2 years is that deep industry insight, that's probably going to replace all those businesses. So as soon as people can generate those businesses in their pocket, you have the insight to generate them. What are you going to build? So I think that's all you guys really need to think about. All right, now go get your first customers. See you guys.